Hi, Matt Thomas from News Radio 1080 KRLD, and this week on Eye on Technology, brought to you by the Dallas law firm Monk Wilson Mandela, we're talking with Kevin Alewine of Shermco Industries. I want you to first kind of give us an idea of what you guys do.
Well, Shermco Industries is now a multinational electrical service company. We have built the industry on high voltage electrical testing and repair of rotating machinery. We have one of the largest workforces in North America that are certified electrical technicians for testing, engineers for design, for the electrical grid, for industrial applications, and of course for wind industry, which is what we're talking about here.
What's going on with wind right now?
Well, the biggest news in wind is the growth. And what has happened is that since 2005, when there were about 9 gigawatts, that's 9,000 megawatts worth of wind turbines in North America, there are now more than 65 gigawatts or 65,000 megawatts, and that's a huge amount of growth, and that's just since 2009 to 2014.
And so what has that meant for you guys?
We got into it about 2000, so pretty early in the years. When I came to work for Shermco, which is to help manage their wind services program, we had just a few technicians. We had 3 locations based out of Irving, Texas, with satellite offices in Tulsa and Austin. But we had 241 people. Not strictly due to wind, but wind is a major part of it. To fast forward to 2014, we now have 17 locations and more than 1,500 employees, 5 locations in Canada, and then all through the center part of the U.S. And we just opened in Columbus, Ohio last week. So
talk about, obviously with that staffing growth and the growth in wind, with that comes an evolution in the technology used, I would imagine.
Absolutely. Well, wind, of course, itself is a new technology, and it's even in just the 15 years that Shermco's been in the business, the size, the scope of the machine, the electronics, the control systems, which they call SCADA, which is the feedback, wireless vibration monitoring for condition monitoring for reliability, and the technology has just exploded.
It's really amazing to see those wind farms and you know, as you're talking about what goes on behind the scenes to make it all happen.
It's interesting to look behind the curtain in any business. At least I'm fascinated by what really happens. And the wind industry is fairly young compared to most industries. It's gone through obviously a huge growth, and it's also gone through a lot of technological improvements. It's very complicated. It is, after all, a power plant. So not only do you have the wind turbines, you have collector systems, transformers, substations, and everything else that goes involved into it. And so it's a much more complicated business than you might just look at and say, oh, look at the pretty windmill.
Right.
There's a lot more to it than that. So
I want you to talk a little bit about staffing. You mentioned the explosive growth that you guys have seen as far as the number of people that you need to do what you do.
Oh, it's huge. We currently have at least 150 openings for qualified technicians and engineers throughout North America. And a lot of that's in wind, a lot of that is in normal grid infrastructure, and just a lot of opportunities. And finding good qualified people is hard. But we have a lot of openings, and they're definitely, jobs are certainly well compensated, let me put it that way.
As an outsider looking in, it seems, and following the news and what have you, right, that with the way energy is going and the challenges that exist, that there really is more of a serious discussion going on about using wind.
What wind brings not to get too far out into the fine print, but what wind brings really is a hedge. It is a high initial cost, but the energy cost is there isn't any. Okay, wind is still free. They haven't figured out a way to tax it yet, but it is so it's a stabilizing force, and it is very competitive with natural gas and other forms of traditional energy, but it's not as volatile. So the price is dependable. Many people can write long-term 10 or 20-year power purchase agreements to stabilize that energy cost, and that gives them a real hedge against whatever happens in fossil fuels or nuclear or regulations from the government or whatever else. Personally, I'm very much an all of the above guy. I think there's a place for all of the energy forms, and wind is just another viable source of a viable natural resource that we need to figure out how to utilize and make it profitable.
What have we left out?
I think just a short emphasis on what's happened in Texas. Texas is by miles the leader in wind energy in North America. That comes as a surprise to some people. We have 14 gigawatts currently operating in Texas. In January, on some days it supplied over 20% of the power used in the entire state of Texas.
Wow.
And there's no stopping. The wind resource in Texas is very, very good. There's good support for it. The regulatory rules in Texas are quite good for developing the wind farms, and we see it as just continuing to grow. We export a lot to other states as well.
Remember, you can see more Eye on Technology videos right here at cbsdfw.com, and be sure to listen to Eye on Technology on News Radio 1080 KRLD every Tuesday at 1:10 and 5:50.